Good afternoon, everyone. And I want to first start by thanking the Northwest Arkansas Technology Summit for allowing me to speak with you all today. My name's Dave Guggina, and I lead innovation and automation within the U.S. Walmart operations. Let's see if I can get the clicker to work. Today, I wanted to start with a quote from Mr. Sam, and that is, I have always been driven to buck the system, to innovate, to take things beyond where they've been. I love this quote, and it is a type of thinking that we like to utilize within the innovation and the automation space. We are reimagining what our supply chain capabilities look like over time. We're reshaping work for our associates, and we're doing this all so that we can better service customers today and into the future. Today, I want to start by talking about some of the ways of working within our organization, and then I want to share some of the technology that we're investing in across the Walmart US business. Up on screen, you can see some of the things that our team thinks about when we think about how we work or ways of working. The first is frontline obsession. We start by spending time with our customers, spending time with the associates that we serve and the business that we serve. And we identify problems that these individuals are having that we are tasked with helping to solve. So start with the problem and work backwards from there. Next is the vital few. I think in today's fast-paced environment, it is easy to get caught up in the trivial many things that are on our list of things to do. And our team likes to say we're as proud of the things we've decided that we're not going to do as the things we are going to focus on. And we know it's often a few items that are going to have the largest impact on our associates and the customers that we're servicing. And last is reshaping work for our associates. I believe that it's the combination of humans and machines that can create the best outcomes for customers. We have to allow humans to do what we do best, utilize our problem-solving skills, utilize our empathy for one another and for customers, utilize the things that make us human, and utilize them in concert with machines who are great at processing large quantities of data quickly or completing a repetitive task at high speed with high levels of precision. And again, it's the amalgamation of the two that often results in the best outcomes, is what we're finding. This next slide is a mental model we like to use. On the y-axis is value and the x-axis is time. And really all the work we do falls into one of these three buckets. The first is knowledge creation. We, as I noted, start with the problem, and then we cast a broad net. We cast a net internally for ideas on how we could improve our processes, internally on new technologies that we should be looking at, testing, and externally, globally, to find the best technology to solve some of the hardest problems in retail today. These take the shape of proof of technology, proofs of concepts, and pilots. And then once we've proven something can actually solve business problems for our customers, then we move to the true transformation or value creation. This is when we're rolling out technology at a broad scale. And I'll highlight some, as I talk about the different technologies we're investing in, I'll highlight which stage they're in. And then finally is iteration or continuous improvement. We know that if we do not continually iterate on our processes and our technology, it will enter a form of stasis and become ineffective. So this is our mental model of where our work falls. At the beginning of this year, we bucketized our work into 5 different areas. And primarily, our group focuses on building greater capacity, greater accuracy, and greater speed so that we can continue to deliver everyday low prices for customers and bring on new capabilities that allow us to do exciting things like monetization. So the 5 buckets were network and node optimization, and we have a host of work that sits under that. That's designing the most optimal supply chain, where our physical assets are positioned, and what their capabilities to service the customer are. Next is infrastructure and automation. This is the hardware and the software that we're deploying in our end-to-end supply chain. Then item visibility and accuracy, knowing what we own, in what quantity, where it is in near real time. Transportation, we are working to build transportation solutions that allow us to enable speed, service, and allow us to operate at everyday low cost. And then regeneration. This is truly at the foundation of everything we're doing as a team. We are aiming to become a regenerative organization that places humans, people, and nature at the center of everything we do, and is top of mind as we're selecting initiatives. So I've highlighted a few that I'm going to dive a little deeper into today. And I wanted to start with a new application that we've built. It's a simulation platform, and it's called Mobius. So Mobius is a digital twin of our supply chain. It essentially emulates the physical assets, the trucks, the fulfillment centers, the inbound distribution centers, or inbound consolidation centers, regional distribution centers, perishable distribution centers throughout our network. And it allows us to simulate past events, present events, and future events in essentially an infinite number of permutations. Mind you, we are constrained by time, but in an infinite number of permutations so that we can make better decisions for our supply chain. I want to give an example of a simulation that we ran a few months back. The team was looking at how to optimally build catchments for our last mile delivery network and looked at I'm showing three of the scenarios on the screen now. One scenario we looked at was we took 3 stores. Those are the inverted pyramids on the screen. And the 3 stores, we took a 9-mile catchment, radial catchment. And what we found was this was more cost optimal than a 12-mile radial catchment. However, we were able to service more customers with faster delivery by selecting the 12-mile catchment. The most optimal way for us to build our last mile catchments, though, was spatially optimized catchments. This allowed us to achieve the lowest cost as well as get to the most number of customers with same day and same day delivery. So again, there's hundreds, thousands of decisions we're making on a regular basis within our supply chain, and Mobius is helping us make better, more intelligent decisions today and will help us as we continue to iterate on this tool into the future. This next technology that I'm going to show you, some of you may have heard us make an announcement not too many months ago about our partnership with Symbiotic. We're rolling this automation coupled with a new warehouse management and new warehouse control system that are built in-house. Scott Donahue, who is in the audience with us today, there he is, will be speaking on those systems tomorrow. So make sure you attend Scott's discussion. But we're rolling this out to every single one of our regional distribution centers. All 42 regional distribution centers will be retrofitted with this technology. Let me walk you through the tech, and then at the end, I'll add some more context on what this means for our business. All right, it's playing. So the process begins when pallets arrive at one of our regional distribution centers. We then bring those pallets to an automated inbound cell where a robotic arm delayers the pallets. Then, dual robotic arms orient those cases so that they can be singulated and go through a 6-sided Cognex scanner. This Cognex scanner allows us to auto-receive the freight if we have advanced shipment notice information. It also allows us to determine whether or not the case can be ingested by the automated storage and retrieval system. A high-speed lift then takes the case to the appropriate level in the system, and an autonomous mobile robot intelligently slots it into the dense modular storage structure. This is analogous to how data is stored in a computer hard drive. The same autonomous mobile robots then retrieve the case when there's demand downstream at a point of sale, at a supercenter per se, and bring it to an outbound palletization cell where you saw dual robotic arms grabbing, orienting, and placing the cases on an intelligently layered pallet. So what do I mean by an intelligently layered pallet? Today, many of our stores receive freight floor loaded. And it is not necessarily intelligently layered. We batch the cases, the goods, and we load them into the trailer. In the future, intelligently layered pallets will allow us to do things like build a feature upstream at the distribution center rather than in the store. And all the store associates will need to do is grab the pallet and move it directly to the store floor where that feature needs to be displayed. We can build half pallets, we can build quarter pallets, we can build full pallets. We can build pallets that are optimized by layer so that an associate can have an easier time putting goods away in the store. Think of it as an intelligent stocking path. What this means is we reshape work for our associates. If you have ever spent time unloading a floor-loaded trailer, it's an incredibly physical job. Today, with this technology, which has been deployed phase 1 in 3 sites, will be in 7 sites by the end of the year and 13 sites by mid next year. What those associates can do now is spend more time with our customers, spend more time doing value-added work outside of those heavily manual tasks that they're executing today. This next technology I'm going to show you is not all that dissimilar to the one that I just showed, but there are some key differences that I want to call out. See if I can get lucky twice with this plan. Here we go. All right, so this is a technology, like I said, not that dissimilar to Symbiotic's capabilities. We've partnered with Vitron in the perishable distribution space. So we have the capability to auto-depalletize and intelligently layer pallets on the outbound side. We also use automated storage and retrieval systems, different systems, cranes, mini loads, not autonomous mobile robots, but automated storage and retrieval systems. The key differences with these two systems, one I would call out is the fact that the majority of the cube in our perishable distribution centers is stored in pallet form. And that's because goods need to exit in FIFO order. And the most efficient way to store those goods in FIFO order today is to keep them in the pallets they originated on. These systems also have the capability to operate in extreme temperatures. So anywhere from negative 20 degrees Fahrenheit to 55 degrees Fahrenheit with humidity levels that can reach 90%. This system also is able to handle a broader variety of container types. So in the perishable space, we have open top cases. We have shrink wrap cases. We have cases that come in cardboard. We have goods that potatoes arrive in sacks. We have items that arrive covered in ice. This system uses trays to handle these containers, whereas our Symbiotic system handles the case itself. And there are advantages to that in the perishable space. With both the Symbiotic system and the Vitron system, we are constantly iterating. I mentioned our ways of working in an earlier slide. So yes, these are transformative technologies. We have deployed these in certain areas of our network. We are continuing to deploy these technologies, but we're also continuing to iterate. So our first generation design, we call Gen 1. Our next is Gen 2, Gen 3, Gen 4, and so on and so forth. But this highlights some of the ways that we've modified the Vitron design, and I could show a very similar slide for the Symbiotic system as well. But our Generation 2 Vitron system is able to handle open top cases. We've made modifications so that we can do that, which increases the entitlement or the goods that can flow through the automated system. We've also changed the eligibility by looking at different size trays in our Gen 2 system, again, increasing entitlement. This next generation has a goods to person station. So for those items that the automated outbound cell can't place, we've created goods to person so that humans can place those items and we can still semi-automate the build of the pallets. Again, increasing the entitlement that can go through the system and not having to rely on humans to coordinate fully with automation. When we have offline or goods that have to be picked with human driving a piece of driving a powered industrial truck, sequencing those activities with machines can be complex, and this eliminates some of that complexity. The last two are innovations on the dock. So the first is one-touch loading, essentially staging the entire load, automating that, and then working with a multitude of different vendors. We're testing autonomous mobile robots that can load and unload trailers. And mind you, these pallets are constructed by machines with Symbiotic and Vitron, which we found are much more amiable to utilizing autonomous mobile robots or even wire-guided AGVs when loading and unloading trailers. Okay, this next slide shows a mental model that we utilize. I'm smiling at some of the team members here because they've seen this a few times. But this is a mental model we use when we're talking about visibility within our supply chain. I had a slide earlier that talked about that being one of our key 5 pillars. Well, how we think about visibility is you have to digitize your supply chain, meaning you're essentially taking information from all the activities that are going on a daily basis, and you're turning it into zeros and ones that can be transmitted through silicone at high speeds. And that data, we measure the quality of that data with its accuracy, its completeness, and its timeliness. And as you can see, from end to end in our supply chain, we have some areas that have more opportunities than others. So we've identified a whole host of initiatives that we're working on to help bridge some of these gaps so that we can provide more accurate, more complete, more timely data to our external partners, internal partners, associates, leaders that are executing numerous different activities on a daily, weekly, monthly, and yearly basis. I wanted to highlight 2 of those particular activities. The first is work that we're doing in the IoT space. So we are excited. This is a knowledge creation bucket, if I go back to the 3 buckets and where this falls. We're really excited about BLE tags, or Bluetooth Low Energy tags. I'm sure that many of you are familiar with RFID, and I think RFID has a place today and it'll have a place in the future. But RFID are what I would call passive tags. BLE tags are active tags, meaning as long as they're energized, they will send data packets back and forth to an access point that can then send those through a gateway to our cloud or Google Cloud Platform or other spaces. So the active part of this tag is key. These tags are also what we call, they have sensing capabilities. So not only can they tell us a location of an item, but they could tell us the temperature of the item. They could tell us how full the item is, a container. It could tell us how full an RPC, a reusable plastic container is. Imagine having a reusable plastic container with avocados, tracking it all the way to the store shelf, and then seeing the avocados be depleted and having end-to-end visibility of those avocados through your supply chain. That's really powerful. So we have been working on a proof of technology in this space, and I want to show you a couple learnings that we had from some of the tests that we did in one of our RDCs in one of our stores. So I know there's this table in the way, so you all maybe aren't seeing some of these slides. I'll try to highlight some of this. So what did we learn when we tagged number of cases at an upstream vendor? Well, one thing we learned was that our invoices weren't fully accurate. I know some of you are shocked by that. But we found that our invoices aren't always fully accurate. In this case, we received fewer cases than the invoice had noted. We also found that every once in a while, an RDC will send cases to a different store than we intended to send them to. We also found that cases took multiple trips back and forth from the back room to the store floor. And one case in particular that you're seeing on the screen here went from the back room to the store floor 5 different times over 7 days. So what gets me most excited about this technology is highlighting the opportunities that we know exist within our supply chain, but we don't have good signal, right? You always have noise. People will tell you what's wrong, but it's much more difficult to call out a defect and have data to back it up that says, I know this is where we should be leaning in because I've analyzed the data, I have the visibility, and this is what is going to allow us to make the most progress in servicing our customers better at the shelf's edge or at pickup or delivery to home. So this data, this visibility will help us focus on the vital few that are the most important. And we're really excited about this space. Again, I think Scott will be highlighting this in more detail tomorrow. Okay, this next technology, again, we're on the visibility topic, is helping us create better visibility within our fleet. So about a little over a year ago, we rolled out a new platform on in our Class 8 vehicles, Platform Science, which allowed us to deploy modernized hardware and our own software applications into those Class 8 vehicles. And In Transit is one of the software applications that our labs organization built with our product and business teams and has deployed to the entirety of our fleet. And what this product was able to do is this product helps our drivers with things like time and attendance, logging in for the day, navigation, communication, but it also lights up our fleet and makes our fleet more visible, which allows us to give our stores better information on when we expect a trailer to arrive. Again, it goes back to the multitude of initiatives that we're working on to bring more visibility, more predictability to our end-to-end supply chain. This next video that I wanted to highlight, I think I may have to click it again. This video highlights one of the activities we have going on in the transportation space. So a little over a year ago, we announced our partnership with a company called DroneUp. And off of Walton, Store 100, we have a hub, a drone hub, if you want to go see this in action. But we've announced recently that we're deploying 31 more hubs across 6 states in the US. We'll have access to millions of customers, and we will be able to deliver, as long as items fit and are the appropriate weight, we will be able to deliver to customers' homes through drones. We're really excited about this program. We're excited about what it means for customers with respects to the speed to delivery. Most of our orders deliver in under 20 minutes once we have the signal that a customer would like drone delivery. So it's an incredibly fast way to get goods to customers' homes. We found that it's incredibly accurate. Drones are piloted by machines. They don't necessarily take wrong turns. They get to their intended destination with a level of precision that's hard to replicate if you're not a machine. They're safer from the standpoint of we're flying through the air, point to point. DroneUp's record is pristine. No reported incidents in all of the flight hours that they've recorded to date. We also know that this can be a more environmentally friendly way to deliver. These are battery-powered drones. And we know that over time, we believe over time that this can be an incredibly cost-effective way to deliver goods to folks' doorsteps. So we're excited about the partnership with DroneUp. There is a lot more to come in this space. We are working through integrating fully with the front end of our website. We're working with DroneUp so that we can get approvals to operate more efficiently. This is a new space for the FAA as well, so we're learning together. But we couldn't be more excited about this program. Okay, I'll I'll get to questions and after one more slide. So this next slide, it's my last slide. What I wanted to emphasize is kind of go back to where I started. We are transforming our supply chain. We are reshaping work for our associates. We're digitizing our supply chain. And we are creating an intra-connected supply chain, one where historically physical assets may have had one-to-one relationships, and now and in the future, they'll have one-to-many relationships. We couldn't be more excited about what that means for our customers and the associates that we work with every day. So thank you for having me today. It was a pleasure speaking with all of you. Great. Yeah, I was just checking time. So, yep. Great. I think we had a question right here. Yep, great. The question was around many of the folks in the room live in Arkansas. Are we part of the beta? Can we select drone delivery? So today, we don't have drone delivery integrated with the front end of our website. We're aiming to have that done early next year. I don't want to give you an exact date, but early next year, Q1 is really what we're targeting. And once integrated fully to the front end, you'll be able to select it similarly to how you would select express delivery. So we're excited about that integration. Today, there is a drone up, droneup.walmart.com that you can go to be part of the beta, but we're also very restricted with regards to the radius in which we can deliver. So a key to advancing drones is getting more reps, getting more data, so that we can work with folks like the FAA and other players in the drone space so that we can expand things like the radial catchments and enable things like beyond visual line of sight. So today, we do not fly beyond visual line of sight. So you have to have a human able to see the drone from point of takeoff to delivery. So we're excited for lots of folks to get involved in this beta in the very near future. That's a great question. So the question was, in the future, do we see drones delivering to apartments as well? And I think the answer to that question is absolutely. How? We have all kinds of different ideas. Do people adopt mailboxes that can be affixed to apartment buildings that drones can deliver to? Would folks rather have them delivered to dedicated parking lot spaces outside of the facility? We're looking at a bunch of different ways to do this with our partners, but I think the answer is absolutely. I don't think living in an apartment is a limiting factor long term. Obviously, it is most easy to deliver to folks that have the space. It's about the size of a parking space. In their yard or in their front yard, in their driveway, in their backyard. Today, that's the easiest path. But absolutely, there's lots of great ideas to bridge that gap in the future. Great question.
All right. Can we go ahead and thank Dave one more time?
Okay,
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.